Hello everybody, DataTabXL 101 here, back with another video. And 2 days ago, the Stories of Sodor Season 6 trailer or teaser video came out. And after seeing how fantastic my Season 5 final prediction video did, becoming my most viewed video of all time until a month ago, I decided why not do another video about it for the season 6 for the season 6 trailer, predicting what could happen in season 6. So just for a catch up on what happened at the end of season 5 in the final, random dogs exploded, Mickey sacrificed himself for Donald, Evil Twin himself, Sean Hall, died, and Thomas allegedly died as well. A lot of death. And with that small recap done, let's get into the season 6 trailer, which I haven't watched yet. I'll watch it right now, and I'll be back in a bit.
5 minutes later.
Oof, well, I've watched it now, and there is definitely quite a bit of stuff to analyze here, so let's get going. Now, something I wanted to point out straight away with this is that we have happy music this time. So compared to last season, where obviously due to the nature of the season, the music was sad, which indicates of a good season in terms of things that are going on and not that much tragedy, which is good because last season really didn't with a lot of tragedies, as I've already mentioned at the beginning of this video. So
it began with a painful recovery.
Yeah, I don't think there's any winners for getting, or any prizes for guessing what this episode will be about. So, it began with a painful recovery. Obviously, they're referring to the tragedies that happened at the end of last season with the deaths of Thomas and Mickey. And by the looks of things, we have Henry here with Derek. Maybe after Derek became the new counselor, the new therapist after Mickey's passing. Which would make sense, and maybe in here, in this specific scene that we see, is giving therapy to Henry, similar to how Mickey gave therapy to Edward back in season 3, at the beginning of season 3. Maybe that's why. Maybe Henry's now feeling kind of guilty. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the guilt is bouncing back to him after the flying kipper accident back in season 2. Maybe that's what's going on. It was in season 2, right? You get the point. So, yeah, obviously this episode will be dealing with the recent deaths and them trying to move on from it. And I'm gonna guess this episode will be named Recovering or Recovery. One of those two. But yeah, it will just be them mourning the recent losses of after what Sean Hall did. And before we continue with this video, I just want to say something real quick, and it's that I know episode 1 is out on Patreon, alright? However, I do not own a Patreon. I do not have Patreon. I've never used Patreon. I tried to use it once, but I couldn't. And yeah, I don't have a Patreon. So I don't want anyone saying that, oh, he's already watched the first episode on Patreon. No, I've not watched it. Alright? And I thought to make that clear after some comments I got from the previous Source of Sodor video, the season 5 final prediction, where I got quite a few comments saying that I already knew how the final was because it was already uploaded on Patreon and whatnot, and I was just making my predictions seem close enough but not completely correct, so I can get attention and whatnot. I don't know, but yeah, that really pissed me off last time I did it because I do not have a Patreon. All right, I just thought to make that clear. Now let's continue.
One that was nearly derailed by the actions of an informant.
Now this is interesting. So, Edward says one that was nearly derailed by the actions of an informant, and we can see 3 workmen there. Talking to apparently Francis, who is back on the island after delivering his scrap of metal into Berry Island. Apparently he's back, and we can also see Henry in the background. Maybe he has something to do with it. But on initial thought, I guess Francis is informing something that that's going on, maybe on the other on the main line, other railway, whatever, and sees it as that could be sees it as it could be coming to Sodor, whatever that change may be. And while Francis doesn't completely like the engines of Sodor, or doesn't like Sodor in general, he's not completely heartless, if you get what I mean. He wouldn't like to see the engines there suffer, or the fast controller suffer, for example, especially after what we saw from the end of last season, where he did felt very sorry for Thomas's death by just looking. So yeah, maybe Francis could be is informing something important. Maybe some. I mean, it did say, at the beginning, it did say that Edward did say that this period of time on Sodor was pretty revolutionary. So maybe some big revolutions are happening in the main line, and Francis is here to inform us of those potential revolutionary things that could be coming to Sodor. So yeah, that's my thought on this one. Probably gonna call it this episode Informant or Informing. I'm gonna stick with Informant. But yeah.
Shortly after a change in leadership,
now this is another curious one, because at first I was kind of puzzled by that shortly after a change in leadership. I was like very confused, because I was like, there's leadership, the fast controller, but surely the fast controller won't leave, right? Unless he's going on holiday or something. But yeah, I thought, at first I was pretty confused, and thought maybe the fast controller was stepping down for a bit, and I don't know, something like that. But then I remembered, or thought of something, that maybe it wasn't the railway director, but it was maybe a change in the leadership of the BR board chairman. Yeah, you get what I mean, right? Because I do know from my very limited knowledge of real life locomotives and whatnot, that the 1965 was the year when Dr. Beeching stepped down from the chairmanship of the BR board. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was 1965. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. Probably. So maybe he's referring to that change in leadership. Maybe Beeching stepping down will lead to a new leadership of the new chairman. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. If I get this right, I'll be very proud. I'll be very proud of myself if I get this right, which makes me want it to be right. But yeah, I think that this will be about that Dr. Beeching stepping down, and we have a new chairmanship on the BR board. That's my prediction for what this episode could be about. As for the title, I have no idea. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Edward usually leaves a hint of what the episodes will be named in the lines he said, so maybe readership ? I don't know. Readership ? I guess.
an infamous troublemaker would briefly join our ranks.
Oh boy, here we go. Dudley's here. He is here, ladies and gentlemen, next to Rosie and Edward. All I can say is that if Dudley's here, then shite's about to go down. That's all I know when Dudley's on screen. Imagine that he's gonna be somewhere portrayed as what Dudley was in his original stories. Maybe except the ghost part. I don't know about that one, but yeah, I don't have much to say about this one other than it's Dudley, and that with him here, yeah, with him being an infamous troublemaker, he will cause quite a bit of problems for the other engines. I don't know, maybe he will be kind of like how Jeffrey was in season 1, something like that. Just complete another trouble by a big engine. Maybe that's all that's really all I have to say about this one. It's just weird. I don't know what to say, but it's just random. But yeah, Dudley's here, so let's see how he does in this stories.
Daisy would feel compelled to test her limits.
Now for this one, Daisy would feel compelled to test her limits. So we see Daisy pushing a train, obviously, over what seems to be Gordon's hill. So Daisy's acting like a banker in this shot, which and by the line Daisy would feel compelled to test her limits, I feel like this episode could be talking about, or well, not talking about, or maybe about Daisy helping out others, kind of like how, and doing all the work she can, kind of like how that season 11, I think, episode from season 11 that was called Duncan Does It All or something like that, where Duncan was doing everyone's job to prove he was a really useful engine, something like that. So maybe something along those lines of Daisy wanting to prove her worth, so she helps out as much engines as possible, like helping this engine get up Gordon's hill. And maybe when she says test her limits could also mean she tests her limits on strength, maybe? I don't know, this is just analyzing and me analyzing and predicting. But maybe she just breaks down from so much work and she just breaks down. So maybe that could be it as well, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna say, just Daisy helping everybody on the island out.
And the Skarloey Railway suffered some grave losses.
Well, yeah, I think this is another pretty notable one, and it looks like the trucks and buses and all of that have arrived at the Skarloey Railway looking for business. And of course, because of that, obviously, the Skarloey Railway will be suffering a lot of losses because of the worries in the buses. Well, hopefully, it's not more engine losses and only just financial losses, which is still bad. But it's even worse to have more death in the Skarloey Railway. So yeah, just more financial losses due to the beginning of the road vehicles coming to the Skarloey Railway for work, and companies setting their job, or I cannot speak, or companies now using trucks and lorries to take their merchandise or whatever they're selling to further up the hills and stuff, as well as buses now being able to go there. So yeah, and I imagine George the Steamroller will have something to do with this, but yeah.
A new company was founded at Arlesdale.
Again, another pretty obvious one, as the Arlesdale Railway, or the Miniature Railway, will make its debut this season. You can see there Rex, Mike, and Bert, the crane and a bunch of workmen on the old Minnesota Railway sheds. So yeah, again, not much to say other than it's the Arlesdale Railway opening, or making its official debut this season, which will be interesting to see how the stories will be incorporated in the stories of Sodor format with these engines. So yeah, exciting to see the new railway pump up this season,
which was home to an unusual musician.
Okay, now I know it's getting a bit redundant now that I'm just saying. I'm not saying that much, but this one I actually really have no idea for what this could be. Well, we can see the musician in the piano, and as we can see, the house looks very overgrowth. It has a lot of tall grass in it. So yeah, the musician apparently just lives in an abandoned house, or in a very unwell kept house. But this is the only one I have no idea for what this could be, other than just, well, a random episode.
Several protesters began causing problems.
So now for the penultimate episode of the season, looks like we had an uproar of protesters, and we can see there are well, protester actually. But we can also see in the signs that ban the bomb, make wealth not war, and yada yada yada. And I can assume that the ban the bomb is well, obviously they're trying to protest about bombs, obviously. Maybe it has to do with the incidents of last season where, you know, random exploding and all that happened. Maybe it has to do with that, the continuation of that with people protesting about bombs, so they want them banned because of the amount of problems they caused last season. That could be it. Or maybe it's from something else that we don't know, from later, or from the actual season that we don't know. Or maybe it's an accumulation of things, you know? Maybe after all the problems that bombs have caused in Sodor, like that season 2 episode where, maybe Shootback just blew up the entire main line. That was a funny episode. But yeah, and of course the harbor disaster from last season. But yeah, maybe it's just, a bunch of things accumulating for this protest to happen, and that's why we have a protest now. Or there will be a protest in Season 6, which includes banning bombs. Which, I don't know how the mines will work without bombs, but okay. Maybe this episode could be called Protests? Has there been an episode called Protest? I don't think there has. Yeah, maybe this episode could be just called Protests.
And one of us would make a dramatic adjustment to his life.
And so, the final episode of the season, and so, well, another obvious one, or in my eyes. So, after Thomas's passing, for the branch line, as in honor of Thomas, he decided to paint himself blue, just like him. And now he runs the branch line with Annie and Cuervo. That's most likely what's going on here. Either that, or somehow Wisp Productions managed to get her way into Big Tan 6 series. Is now the new owner of the branch line now, and he's out blue. And if I had to guess a title for this episode, it would be maybe Adjustment or something. I don't know, something along those lines could be the episode title. But yeah, that's all the episodes, and I think that's all for today, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. I think I gave the best analysis / predictions I can. Remember, I am a bit brain dead, so yeah. And I do apologize if this video did seem quite rushed. I am currently editing and making this on the 22nd of October, so I'm trying to get this out as fast as I can because the first episode is coming out on YouTube on the 26th, so I need to be kind of quick with this. So yeah, but anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you guys like it. Again, I apologize if it seemed a bit rushed and not really completely well made. I will improve, hopefully. But yeah, and if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe, because we are on a mission to 200 subscribers right now, which would be very epic to see. Well, it would be very epic for me to see. So yeah, and as always, thanks for watching, and that's episode 101 out. Bye.